name is Judy and I am the Running Sew and Sew. And if you're a returning subscriber, hello. If you're a new subscriber, hello. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, just hit that button in the side of the screen. It should just be down there, and all being well, it should be there the whole video, because I managed to get it on using a YouTube tutorial. I was rather proud of myself yesterday. Now then, I'm coming to you today with my Let's Talk About 2021. And before I start to talk about 2021, I thought I would show you how I have recorded my makes in the past. So the first way I tried to record my makes was using this rather lovely notebook. It's called the Maker's Workbook, and it is by Creative Industry Pattern Trace, I think is what it comes up as. In 2021, I became a Patreon for Gertie, who is Charm Patterns now. So I kept the lovely little thing from Gertie, and the nice thing about these sewing planners is you can keep all your makes in one place. Carrying on from Vlogmas, I started by doing the 12 days of Christmas. So obviously I got to day 8 when I got to the 1st of January. So that took the rest of January to make, and here you will find a picture of it. Now the designs came from, it was either Embblibrary, Embroidery Designs or Urban Threads. Links in the description box below. But boy did I have fun doing that, and it seems that I've started 2022 doing exactly the same thing. Supposedly a scrap quilt? Don't think there's much scrapping about it actually. She says having been to Bugweeds already and bought more new fabric. So I then went into Project Breton, where I did a little bit of research into Coco Chanel and how she made the Breton top popular. And my idea was to search for the perfect Breton top. Now I made the Gable top by Jennifer Lauren Patterns. I did the Roxy top by Sew Over It, and I made 2 of those. One was in stripes and the second one was in a very fluid fabric by a company called Neat Milk. Now it's the most divine fabric. It's so sustainably friendly, but it's slightly too heavy for the Roxy top. That's how I found it. I found it stretched and pulled out of shape. It was the wrong fabric for that top. I then made the Barbie top by Charm Patterns. It was a free one with Patreon. Lovely. I then made the Brigitte top by Tessuit Patterns. Now that is the most fantastically simple top to make. So easy. Totally recommended. I made the Emno top by Criollo. I made 2 of those. One was in stripes and one was in an art gallery fabric. But Project Breton was looking at stripes. And stripes is something that's really hard to work with. I didn't really know if I wanted to work with stripes, but boy, I loved working with stripes when I did. But in my search for the perfect Breton top, I think I found that pattern. And that pattern is the Jussie Le Marionnaire by Blusette en Rose. There's a link in the box below. Then I discovered the most perfect fabric by a company called Discovery Knitting. Again, a link in the box below. I'm not paid anything at all. I do not accept paid promotions, because in this channel I want to be able to give you my opinion on a fabric. Now, Discovery Knitting fabrics are perfect for the Breton top. They are constructed, they are a true knit fabric. They are a true knit fabric, and they are the correct dimensions for your Breton top, which is 2 centimeters of white and 1 of your stripe. The fabric is not the easiest to work with. Just bear that in mind. And I made 2 Jussie Le Marionnaires. I made one in the most beautiful 1 centimeter stripe fabric. It was 1 centimeter. I'm just about to tell this dog. Right, it was 1 centimeter of pale blue and 1 centimeter of a darker blue. Just pop it now. Here we are. This is the first of my, what I would call true Breton tops. This is the Blusette en Rose pattern, the Jussie Marionnaire. Yet again, this is a stretch fabric with a lot of recovery. It's quite a firm fabric. It isn't too fluid. As I said, I'm rather proud of my stripe matching. This came from Lamazi. I know that I bought a lot of the striped fabrics from Lamazi Fabrics. They probably wanted what on earth was going on when they got that. But here you go. I do love this one. It is like a true Breton top, and when my research showed that it should have a more open neck like this. After all, it was something sailors were wearing, so you had to be able to get it on and off quickly. And I have got 2 buttons. Now this was the first one I made. The neckline is bound in standard bias binding. I think you could use any binding. Here you go. And I got it on with jeans. Here we go. This is what I would call the perfect Breton top, and I absolutely love it. It is exactly the same size as the one I have just shown you, but the fabric doesn't have as much pull in it, much recovery. It's a much softer fabric. Now I did spend a long time ensuring I did the best pattern match I could. Now I do know that somewhere on here I have come undone with some of my fabrics. The best version of a true Breton in my hunt for a true Breton, this is it. I have got my 3 buttons. Now these buttons I saw on the Atelier Brunette website, and when I was making a fabric order I ordered them, so I actually had the top made without any buttons until they came. And as you can see, I've got the stripes to run in here, and the running in matches. If you can't see it underneath that, but the running in does match from there to that bit there. And then you have a separate bit that you put on. It looks quite complicated on the pattern, but actually what it is just, it's just telling you to put a tab on it. That's all. So if you know how just to put a little bit of binding on and catch it in the sleeves, that's all it is. The reason they make the most perfect Breton top is that a Breton top should technically have a bound neckline and 3 or 2 little buttons just here at the left shoulder, and that pattern does have it. It is in French, but believe me, Google Translate works perfectly, and I think it's only got 3 pieces, and then the binding. I am going to do a sew along for it, and it won't be long before I do that. I'm just looking at ordering some fabric to make that. I made a Zadie jumpsuit. I finally got on the bandwagon for the Zadie jumpsuit. Oh my gosh, did I love that jumpsuit. So much so, here is the orange one. I made a cobalt blue one as well. Cobalt blue with Atelier Brunette cobalt blue one with a lovely binding by Atelier Brunette to match. I made the Sablon top by Anne Cadales, and I made that in yellow for the Sew Yellow for Endo challenge, and I did do a separate vlog on that. My lovely niece Becca does have endometriosis, so I felt this was a very appropriate challenge to get behind. It was organised by Felicity Fabrics and Jess from Sew What If I Sew. That challenge is running again this year, and I heartily support all of you to get behind that. Endometriosis is a silent condition and people suffer, and we need more research into it as well. I think Purple Sewing Cloud was behind it as well, but please don't quote me on that one. But the Sablons top by Anne Cadales is beautiful. It's got a little bit of detailing here and a little bit of detailing on the sleeve. Absolutely gorgeous t-shirt, and I love it. Can't wait for the summer to wear it again. I also took part in Frugal Frocks 2021, which was done by Frugalissima and the Yorkshire Sew Girl, and Sam and Rowan did the most amazing job with this. Oh my gosh, what a challenge. We had to use fabric from our stash and we had to find a free pattern. And I really went for it. Guess what? I found a French pattern. And it's lovely. It's simple shirt-waisted dress, but it was free, and it was called The Perfect Hostess Dress by a company called Positive Road. The fabric actually came from France. It came from, oh my gosh, which town did it come from? I can't even remember, but it's beautiful. It came from a town in France. And if that challenge runs again this year, I think I've got just the dress to wear for that one as well. Oh, and the buttons I used for that, I used from my grandma's button tin. So yet again, I was being frugal because I used thread I had in my stash, fabric I had in my stash, and buttons that had been in a stash for yonks. I don't think they've been in for 100 years, but they've certainly been in for over 75. The next dress I made was the scalp dress. If I've forgotten to say it, the picture should appear. I made the scalp dress by Charm Patterns. It was a Patreon pattern, and it was just simple shirt waist with a massive skirt, a completely mahoosive skirt. It fitted me beautifully, and I loved the way that the skirt was pleated into the bodice rather than gathered into the bodice, because it just gave it a little bit more of a fit, and I didn't feel as if my hips sort of stood out in my arm. Then we moved to the wedding. Yes, I'm going to pop it in. The Camelia Jacket by Maison Fauve, using the lovely jacquard fabric from Atelier Brunette, which matched beautifully with the peach melba fabric I bought to make the Monica dress by Apolline Patterns. I don't think I need to say any more about that other than I love those colours. So much so I have a hat to match, and I shall be wearing another dress made in that in October this year when Tristan gets married to the lovely Rachel. Not the Rachel from Stitched Up. Not that Rachel, please. My lovely Rachel. My lovely daughter-in-law to be Rachel. I then did the Sew Your Birth Year. And I did a Simplicity pattern. It was a vintage pattern. It was Simplicity 8591. And the fabric was from Walton's. Gorgeous fabric. Gorgeous pattern. Did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me at all. Wasn't me one little bit. And I wanted to wear it for my birthday meal. So instead I wore the Maison Fauve jumpsuit. It's the Maison Fauve Faye jumpsuit. And I made it with some Maison Fauve fabric. It was their latest collection. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I might need some more wine. Cheers. It's a South African red. So I made the Maison Fauve using the Tencel fabric from their latest collections, and it was an absolute dream to sew. I'm not paid by Maison Fauve at all. I accept no payment. I will keep reiterating this point. But the Maison Fauve patterns are cut so accurately. It's fantastic. And as I've said before, the instructions for the later patterns are in English and in French. And Emily does YouTube tutorials, and you can click a link and you get the English translation on them. So if you have any problems, you can access them with complete ease. The patterns are slightly more technical, so if you fancy a challenge, go for it. I'm doing the collar zone jacket in a lovely fabric I got from So Much More in my Make 9 challenge, and it will be one that I will be doing fairly soon. I think it's number 3 on my mental list. So that was the Maison Fauve Faye dress. Not only did I wear it for my 60th birthday meal at the local gastropub, I wore it on Christmas Day as well. It's so comfortable. So comfortable, so easy to wear. It's got a little bit of elastic in the waist, ladies. Gentlemen, it's just what you need on a day when you've had far too much food. It was their first online sewing box. So I bought one, and then Rachel from Stitched Up bought one, and we made them here together during the sewing weekend. So we'd had our sewing weekender on the Sunday. Here we had the laptop going with the online chat rooms, and it was absolutely fantastic. So if you didn't do the sewing weekender this year, it's quite good to join in, if anything, for the chat rooms, because I had a ball with the chat rooms. And then I made some, I'm writing down the Palma top because I've not got it on my list. I made the Tempo Tights by Green Style Creations for Christmas. And my son just went, oh no. And then Rachel turned up on Christmas Day and he went, oh no, 2 of you. And he ran off ahead of us. I have struggled to make the Tempo Tights, and I was really fortunate because Rachel came down and she helped me make them, and she says there's a technique where you need to put the clear elastic inside the waistband, and she's absolutely spot on. You just put this clear elastic inside the waistband and it has to be your waist size to fit exactly inside that waistband. You don't need to stretch it, you just need to sew it down inside that waistband, and it just gives you that little bit of security, and it holds the it holds the tempo tights in place. Perfect. And the only other two, oh, I have made more things. I made 2 Sheridan tops. I made the blue one, which I rave about, and I made a stripy one, which I don't know if I've got a picture of. If I do, it'll go in. If not, I'm so sorry. I discovered the Sheridan top. I can't remember who made it. I'll pop it down below if I can remember. Absolutely lovely, simple top to make. Really effective, lovely and comfortable, very flattering. Absolutely love it. And on top of that, I have made 5 Isla tops. Now the Isla top is by Tessuit Patterns, and I am currently wearing one because this has to be my favourite make of 2021. I found this fabric in my stash. I know I bought it in Fabricate in Murfield, but apart from that, I can't tell you anything else. It came from Fabricate. I can't tell you what it's made from, other than it's utterly divine to wear, and I absolutely adore it. It's a pattern I can totally recommend. I also made one for myself in pink, and I made Melanie one in pink as well, and hers says, you got a little picture there with Melanie's, I think it says Team QHQ or Boss or House, I can't remember, but it'll show it there. And I made one with a little embroidered motif for myself. And so this is the Le Sweat by Atelier Brunette. I absolutely love it. I actually had the fabric in ready. I think I was probably going to make a linden top with it, but here you go. Now I am trying to video in my hallway. This is my upstairs hallway, so I've got you under a light, and I don't like doing this. I'm not a model, I'm a mum of 60, but as you can see, it's beautiful. It lies, and I can remember noticing this when I bought the pattern and made it the first time. It's got a bound neckline, and it's the same binding that I used for my Zadie jumpsuit, because it's got the cobalt blue in it, and that is the cobalt blue, and that is the blush. But it lays flat around the neck beautifully. So I make it, I've written down that I've made 29 makes. Now, it's not as many as a lot of you would have made, but when I look back at it, I thought, oh my gosh, I've made far more. I thought I'd made about 12 things. I thought I'd made one a month, but I hadn't. I've actually made 29 things. And that doesn't include the Zoe dress that I made for Anna for her daughter's wedding. It doesn't include all the Christmas trees I made for my tree of trees, and it doesn't include all the alterations, all the curtains, the zips, the trousers, and everything else I've done. But one thing I would like to include in my makes for 2021 is my garden. I made a garden. I actually did my garden myself. All the patios and everything were there, but I put some beds in, I laid some lawn. I did that. So I'm having to include it in my make for 2021 because I did it myself. So that brings me to the end of my makes for 2021. I've tried to condense it as quickly as possible because I know that it's a lot to take in. I hope you've enjoyed what I've presented you today. If you do, give me a like, and better still, click that subscribe button and join me on my journey. And until next time, which will have my first of my make 9s, yes, I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.